They were playing All About You in Subway, and I was having a moment.
She definitely looked like a pop star, I thought.
Ariana was just starstruck by her.
Don't get me started on that lyric video.
She was doing the pop folk thing before any of the other girls. Hey Team Duff, it's Whitt. Thanks so much for listening to Duff Enough, the ultimate Hilary Duff fan podcast. This show is a celebration of the life and career of actress, singer, mother, and all-around icon, Hilary Duff. All right, hardcore fans, this episode is all for you. It is the All About You era. So we're talking Chasing the Sun, All About You, and the songs that were recorded during this folky pop era, but never released and later leaked. And we've coined those songs as being a part of an unreleased album called This Heart. So that's what's coming up. My guest is Mendez from Hilary News. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues while recording his introduction, so you'll hear him once we get to the conversation, but he knows his stuff. He's with Hilary News. He's a lifelong fan. He's met Hilary. His favorite movie, I believe he said, was According to Greta. He loves the Dignity album, especially Between You and Me, so a deep cut there. And his favorite episode of Lizzie McGuire is the Treasure Hunt episode, which is called And the Winner Is. But yeah, I hate that we lost that audio. However, you are going to enjoy his commentary and insight. Before we get to the Duff discography discussion, though, I do want to set up where we are in the Hilary timeline. So after Dignity in 2007 and Best of Hilary Duff in 2008, Hilary really stepped away from music. She was no longer signed with Hollywood Records, and she took a break from the industry. I remember her saying that at age 20, she shut down her empire. Now, she was doing independent movies and guest appearances on TV shows, but she was really focused on her personal life. She was dating Mike Comrie, and I think after 2 years of dating, they got married in 2010. After that, we had the Elixir era when Hilary released her best-selling novel trilogy. But it really seemed like music was not even on her radar for a while. And then in 2011, she had more personal life news. She announced that she was pregnant with Luca. And funny enough, while she was pregnant, she got back in the studio. And there were conversations while she was doing press and while pregnant about her recording new music. And she said that she was going to. After Luca was born, though, in March of 2012, music was just off the table again for a while. Hilary became a notable celebrity mom, but eventually during interviews, she started getting asked about music again. And I remember specifically on The View, they asked her and she was saying, I tried while I was pregnant and I'm going to get back to it eventually. So all of us fans are still holding out hope at this point. And then in the fall of 2013, we started getting Instagram pics of her back in the studio recording music. And it was just so great to see. We kept getting photos like that for several months. Now, in early 2014, Hilary and Mike announced that they were separating, which I remember at the time being shocked. I did not see that coming. Of course, everything works out as it should, even though there was this weird period of time where we were like, are they getting back together? Are they getting divorced? What's going on? But anyway, I know for fans, we were like sad in that moment, but we were also kind of like, oh, we're about to get a breakup album. Okay, here we go. Then we found out she was back with her former music manager, Andre Recchi. She started appearing at more music industry events, and the excitement was just building for this new music. And our conversation will pick up on the day that Hilary announced her record deal.
Sparks are about to fly. It's time for Duff Discography.
March 28th, 2014, we got the picture where she had signed a record deal. She didn't tell us what record label she'd signed with, but that was just like, oh my gosh, I was over the moon about that. And it was also around the same time that Younger had gotten picked up.
Like, what I remember from that time period is that we were pretty sure it was with RCA. I don't remember why we were so sure. That's all I can remember.
Next note I made is the iHeartRadio Music Awards. That was May 1st, 2014. And I believe this was like the first time they had those awards, but Hilary presented Ariana Grande with a special award. She looked amazing on the red carpet. I loved her little, she called it her little bird nest. It was a little top knot.
Yeah.
She had she called it the orange lipstick. And that was a really exciting night because that really felt like, okay, Hilary is re-entering the music scene. And I think Juliana Rancic like told her some stats about, I think it was that the photo where she got her record deal was like her most liked photo or something. So she was excited.
Yeah, I agree. It was like a really exciting time, and it did feel like she was part of the music scene again. Because prior to that, she was avoiding basically all of it at all costs. And like, I think during the pre-Grammy shows, she had started appearing at those things too. And I was like, okay, Hillary's taking this seriously. She's mixing and mingling with people. I like that.
Oh, you're right. You're right. She did like the Clive
Yeah.
Davis parties and stuff. Yes. Forgot about that. And just to talk about like what went down during the show, like she strutted out there on that stage with that award and she walked right past Rihanna, like with her classy self. I was like, Hilary, like, and it was just like, look at Hilary in the room with Rihanna right now because, you know, Rihanna was barely on the scene back when Hilary had her huge music, you know, career. So it was just, she was walking into a different music industry and it was exciting. And it was great to see how excited the crowd was. And I remember the announcer was like, actress, singer, mother, we love her, Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
And then she presented Ariana with the award and Ariana was just starstruck by her. And this was early Ariana, like Problem was the song that had just come out. So I just loved how Ariana fangirled so hard, though.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was really nice to see. You know, it gave her, I think, a good sense of like, okay, I really did inspire people and I did get people excited and everything. I think that was really good for Hillary. And even when Rihanna heard her name, her eyes just went and focused on Hillary coming out. Like, I feel like there was like a moment of almost appreciation, like, oh, Hillary's back. Wow.
And also, I think it was Blake Shelton and Luke Bryan were sitting at a table and they like looked at each other when Hillary walked by, like, who is this girl? But I mean, they had their like significant others there, but I was like, yes, sir, y'all are about to check out Hilary Duff looking amazing.
She
here.
was so hot. Like the way that she like you said, strutted out. You know, when she wants to be, she is one of the sexiest women out there.
Absolutely. It was so exciting. It felt like she's back, and it looked like she was so excited to be coming back too, which that eventually kind of changed, which is sad because like I loved when she was so excited about making new music.
Oh, me too.
So yeah. May 14th, we got a picture with Ed Sheeran where they had collaborated in the studio. And I don't remember at what point we learned that like Tattoo was the song, but oh my gosh, like it was like, this is so legit. Like Hilary is not just making like a little fluffy album. Like this is her comeback, or this is going to be her comeback. That's what this felt like.
I agree. I mean, the fact that he was so adamant about being in the studio with her and that they were doing it, wasn't it like after an awards show or something like that? I don't, you know, it was a busy night for sure. And the fact that he just went and got in there with her and they were doing that way late into the night, I was like, this is awesome. I thought it was really cool too.
He had a very small time frame, but he wanted to be there when she recorded the song. And we've learned since that like she heard the song and like had requested it. And I think she said on The View, like she didn't know if Ed Sheeran and people like that knew who her name was. But yes, I just remember that photo very vividly for sure. The haircut. The haircut photo came on May 29th. It was a nice little chop for her hair. She looked amazing. Like I keep saying she has never looked better than like this era and the Breathe In, Breathe Out era. Like she has never looked better. And she was stunning for this era that was coming up in the album photo shoot that she did shortly after this.
Oh yeah, that photo shoot was gorgeous. But honestly, I don't know why, but I've never been the biggest fan of Hillary with short hair. I mean, obviously she's beautiful no matter what, but there was just something about short hair on her that I don't like. But
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, I agree with you. She looked great. Her body was great. Everything else was great.
And I can only picture her mostly with long hair, but going back and watching Lizzie McGuire now, I'm like, whoa, she had pretty short hair for the whole first season.
Yeah.
So July 10th and 11th, we started getting photos on her Instagram from the Chasing the Sun music video shoot, which I don't think we even knew right away
Yeah,
was from
no.
Chasing the Sun. July 21st, she posted a photo teasing her website, and it said "just getting started" as the caption, and it was like a little plane, and it had a banner behind it that said Hilary Duff. And I remember going to her website and seeing kind of what they'd set up, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. But yeah, I mean, now I feel like artists just kind of announce a single and then the next day it's there, you know? But at this time, there was more of a build-up and that sort of thing. So
I agree.
somewhere in there, we found out that Chasing the Sun was the single. It went up on iTunes as a pre-order, and we found out for sure that it was RCA. I vividly remember that night that popped up on iTunes, and I was like still up, and we found out, and it was so exciting, and she looked incredible on the cover art. We got some teasers for Chasing the Sun on her Instagram. The first video, she like rolls on her bed and dances around. And that was like so Hilary. It was such a Hilary thing to do. And this is when she was in New York about to do the release party for it, because we found out about that too. Mm-hmm. And that was at Marquee in New York City.
I do remember the dancing. And at first when I was listening, I was like, what am I listening to right now? And I was like, oh, it's her. And it was cute. She was super excited, like very excited, very, into it.
Let's talk about the release party at Marquee. That was a big night. I remember just staying up on Twitter and trying to follow anything that anybody was posting, and I'm sure y'all were doing the same.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I remember.
And it took forever for her to get there, which she was so late, but fashionably late. I've had a few guests on the podcast that I've recorded where they were there, and it's been so cool to hear that story. But she looked so good that night. I mean, oh my gosh.
She definitely looked like a pop star, I thought. And I especially liked that she seemed so like at home kind of with, the gay people and everyone that was involved in that. That was really cool.
The drag queens were amazing. And they were doing Hilary Duff music all night. And Perez Hilton was there, and I don't know, I have mixed feelings on him sometimes, but anyway, he introduced her and stuff. So that was very exciting. They actually played the Chasing the Sun remix by Dave Audet instead of the actual song, but still. We got a video of Luca dancing to Chasing the Sun on July 26th, and then we also had that promo they did where, well, it was two things. They had the Chasing the Sun airplanes flying in the sky with the banner that said Chasing the Sun, and then they had these little paper airplanes that you could make on her website, which I totally made one. Some cute little marketing ideas, but I don't know. I mean, I remember being totally pumped about this song. I think we knew that it was written by Colby Calais, and it just seemed like there was a lot of excitement building up for the fans. Like, I don't think everyone knew, like, oh my gosh, Hilary Duff is about to make her music come back right now, until the song actually came out. So
yeah, I agree.
The release date for Chasing the Sun, July 28th, 2014. I remember it leaked hours before, and I did listen to it, sorry. But obviously I bought it on iTunes because this was like pre-streaming. Like, streaming wasn't even a big thing at this point. So before we get into like thoughts on the actual song and what went down here are some stats about it. It debuted at 79 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song written by Colby Calais, Jason Reeves, Toby Gad. It got 10 million views in a week. And we'll talk about the music video in a second. But so what did you think of Chasing the Sun when you first heard it?
When I first heard it, I was like, oh my God, it's Hilary. And I was super excited about that. But I remember thinking that the vocals seemed almost like not finished. But I do love that Colby Calais was kind of like showing her support for Hilary too, and they like followed each other. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it definitely seemed very different for Hilary.
No, I 100% agree with you about the production of the song. Like, vocally, it just wasn't where it needed to be, I felt like. And obviously time had passed between the last time she recorded music to now, but of all the songs that she released in this new era of music, this one to me sounded the least like her voice from before. I don't know if you agree with that or not, or one of the least like her voice from before.
Yeah.
The song itself for me, it was a fun summer song. I remember because I was so excited that it was almost like I forced myself to like it, honestly. And I do like it. And it's still fun. Like, I'll play it sometimes in the car or whatever. But in terms of being like a song for her to release for her comeback single, I don't get it. I do not understand. And it wasn't the official first single, as we know. But even as a promo single, it wasn't the right one. I mean, come on, Hilary. Or come on, RCA, I should say. Somebody.
I put everyone to blame on that because I don't know how, because we found out a little bit later, and I don't know if you were going to mention this later, but we found out that it was between All About You, Tattoo, and Chasing the Sun for like a choice for the first single or like the single to put out first. And it was like, what were you people thinking when once we heard the other two songs? Um, yeah, it was just such a strange choice for them to go with. It definitely put a damper on her, her comeback. Unfortunately, it wasn't a horrible song. And like you said, I can still listen to it now every so often. It's not like I go out seeking it, but every so often it'll come on and I'll listen to it, and I like it. It's a cute song, but I agree with you. Oh my goodness, I do not know what was going on in anyone's head when they released that.
And honestly, I have overthought this. Like, I have thought so often about how things could have been done differently. And I'm sure you have too, but it's kind of ridiculous how much time I've spent thinking about it, actually. And I've tried to process, like, what was the thinking behind this? And the obvious reason, it was summer. This was a summer song. But my other explanation has just been, Hilary at this point, she had been out of the public eye. And so most people remembered her as like Lizzie McGuire, or this girl who was in kind of these teen movies. She was very innocent, and we knew her as like the Disney star who had stayed on track. She was a good girl. She was a mom. And so to have come out with All About You, it might have been kind of like, oh, what is this sexy Hilary? Do we like this? What's going on? It's a little bit ridiculous, but we, at the same time, we didn't know grown-up Hilary yet, or most of the public didn't know her grown up. So a sexy song might have been a little strange, I guess. But that's one of my theories. The music video. I will say that when the music video dropped, that almost saved it for me originally because the music video to me felt like grown-up Lizzie McGuire. Like, I just watched Lizzie grown up and working at the office and dreaming about being at the beach. And it was a super cute, super fun video, and I liked the story, and I thought she looked great in it. So yeah, so what do you think about the video?
I really loved the video. Like, to this day, I still love it. I just think, like you said, it was like watching a grown-up Lizzie. And it seemed like it was purposely made the way it was to kind of, appeal to that generation, the generation that grew up with her initially. And I just think, and I don't know if this is correct, but I think the same music video with a different song would have been made more of an impact. I think the video was so darn cute, and like if Taylor Swift released that video, everyone would have been all over it.
Yeah. And you were talking about how it seemed intentional, that it was kind of like Lizzie. And we even see her run into the wall, which is such a Lizzie thing. So, yeah. But that's pretty much Chasing the Sun in a nutshell. Obviously, it did not set things in motion the way that we were hoping it would for her music comeback. And it's very disappointing. People have said it killed the era, which I think is true. It's true, unfortunately. But, we don't have to hate on the song too much because it is fun and great music video.
Yeah.
All that. Okay. All About You is next, and it came a few weeks later. She actually announced the song on my birthday. I would have been that was my 20th birthday, August 9th. It was so exciting. Like, she did this on my birthday. And I believe that she sent pieces of the album artwork to fans, like DM'd them on social media. Is that right? And it was like a little puzzle putting it together.
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And then the album artwork came together and it was revealed on her Instagram, and she looks so good in this album artwork too, or the cover art. It's like a boho look, the black hat. Ugh, so good.
It was really good.
So she announced the single. It was on a Saturday, and the next night was the Teen Choice Awards. She introduced Jason Derulo, and they played All About You, and then Oh gosh, the guy from Wizards of Waverly Place, I'm blanking on his name.
David Henry?
Jake T.
Oh, Jake T.
Austin.
Austin.
He was with her and he was like, he definitely read it off a teleprompter, of course, and he was just very stiff. But he was like, Hilary, is that your new single? And she's like, yeah, that's the world television premiere of my new single, All About You. And we got a little bit of a taste of it and it sounded good. And to me, I remember thinking, oh, this already sounds better than Chasing the Sun. So this song was actually written by Hilary. Savinko Techa is someone who worked with her on this. So this song dropped August 11th. And I remember listening to it for the first time and being like, this is it. This is what we were waiting for.
Yeah, it was an instant like classic as soon as I heard it too.
Lyrically, the lyrics are very simple but easy to remember. It's not like a high concept, metaphorical song or anything. It's just very straightforward. It's very pop. And we haven't even talked about how, in all these interviews this whole time she's been teasing that this new era is going to be kind of folky pop. There's a little twang to this, and we heard it immediately with this song. She was doing the pop folk thing before any of the other girls. Just
Oh
saying.
she always tends to. Yeah, that's why I always get excited thinking about another era because it's like, what else is she gonna start doing, and then what's gonna happen afterwards to make it underrated. Her era.
Yeah. Definitely right off the bat, this song was a little sexy for Hilary, or sexier than we were used to, unless you remember like Reach Out, but most people do not. Okay, so think you're all about me, but I'm all about you. Turn the lights down. Let me show you it's true. Get a little taste of what I'm into. Think you're all about me, but I'm all about you. So All About You drops. I remember the reception for it being very positive. And obviously, I don't think as many people were tuned into it, and were like, this is coming out just because they paid attention to Chasing the Sun. And they were like, Hilary Duff, didn't love that one.
Yeah.
So then they didn't
They
pay
were turned
attention.
off.
Yeah. The lyric video was dropped on August 19th, and I love the lyric video for All About You.
Don't get me started on that lyric video. I cannot tell you how many times I appreciated it. Like up until Sparks Fan Demanded came out, I was like we have like a little chat thing with me, Josh, and Avery from Hillary News. And I would just randomly say, like, oh, I just love her look at this point in this video. Oh, I just love her at this point. I loved that video and I thought it was so well done for it being done like on her vacation in like 3 hours or whatever. Oh, I love it.
Yes, and I also think a lot of times about if All About You had been the first single that was released and this lyric video had dropped initially for it, people would have lost their minds. Like it would have been amazing.
Yeah, it would have been all over. Yeah. Ugh.
Missed opportunity. So I actually did hear this song twice on the radio. I heard it once in a subway. I was with a friend. I freaked out, and I think that she was scared. But they were playing Hilary Duff, All About You in Subway, and I was having a moment. And then I heard it in the car one day, too, and I, remember getting out my phone and, taking a video just to remember the moment. But that's the only 2 times I ever heard it. It didn't even crack the Billboard Hot 100, which was disappointing. It did well in Australia, though, but that's because she promoted it there.
Yep, top 20 single.
Yeah, top 20 Australia. And let's talk about her Australia promotion for a second. She went down under and she did the X Factor, which that was bold. That was really bold for that to be the first big performance. With the dancing and everything. I mean, she went for it.
I agree. I thought it was really, really bold and something special. I loved their intro to her performance too. It was really well done and it, showed that she had made her impact.
Yeah, for sure. And the fans were going crazy in the audience. And I love that all 4 judges stood up after it was over. I mean, it was great. It was great. And she seemed pretty confident. There's that video that leaked where it was, showing behind the scenes of All About You era. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
And I love that video, but you can see where she's very excited about doing this, but also a little nervous. And, she's torn between being a mom and going back out and doing music again. And I don't know, it just felt like it all came together. I'm so proud of her for that moment. And she did great. Those dancers were great. Everything was great. It was great. There were also 2 acoustic videos done in Australia. And Avery told me that he really liked these videos. I told him, I was like, no, I don't think Hilary needs to be doing live acoustic videos. I mean, look, she makes great pop music, but vocally, I'm not mad if Hilary wants to lip sync, or use background vocals. But what are your thoughts on the live acoustic videos? If you're obsessed with them, it's fine.
So I liked her vocals more on in the one with the white shirt or blouse, whatever.
Agreed.
But I liked her look more in the gray
Also agreed.
blouse.
Yeah.
And I do like them both. I do like that she was trying to do something different. That song in particular was just, it's so fun and like just something to bounce along to. So her doing it acoustically was a little odd, but I actually did like them. I did like them a lot.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a strange song to try to do acoustically. Now, the Tattoo acoustic video, I
Yeah.
love. Yeah. The whole Australia promo tour was great for me. And I know she did some of the morning shows and all that. So it was exciting. And I was super proud of her. So she comes back to the US. And at this point, she starts filming younger. And she did a few appearances. She was on like GMA, Kelly and Michael. Her outfit choice was interesting for GMA. Don't get me wrong. I loved like that red jacket and whatnot. But I don't know. I just felt like they had her looking kind of like older than she was, maybe. I don't know.
I also thought it was a weird choice. I don't know why. I just never really liked that look, and so that was disappointing to me.
And her hair was pulled back. No, but I was super proud of her. And I love when I watch that performance back, because I do. I love whenever she gets to like the last chorus and you can just see her like, okay, I got it. And she just goes for it at the very end. There were fans in the studio who were singing along to it, and it was nice to see. And even on Kelly and Michael, like they were very complimentary of her. And Kelly was like, I love when you do music.
Yeah.
And it was great.
I feel like it was a struggle for her because she was also filming at the same time. So she like filmed and then
Right.
she'd run to go do that, or she'd do that after a night of filming and then she'd go back to filming right after. So I do feel like, it was a lot for her at the time. And so I think you can kind of see it in the performances that she was like, working a lot. Like, yeah, I can see why she has a hard time kind of promoting at the same time as her filming something.
Obviously, she did that as a kid and was pulled in a million different directions, but she's not a kid anymore. I mean, she's a mom, and it's a different playing field for sure for
Yeah.
her. So I do get it. As frustrating as it is, I get it. The official music video we haven't talked about yet for All About You, that actually premiered September 24th, and they had a really cute premiere party for it. And I remember I liked her look for that. She did have her hair like back in a ponytail, but I thought she looked really great.
I liked it too, yeah.
Yeah. And they put out a Vivo behind the scenes video of that too. And Hilary was really talking about the album at this point. Like there was an album coming, and we thought that it was coming in October for a while, and that didn't happen. But the music video, okay, I know they shot this in like one day, right?
It was like 12 hours. They did it, and we like knew exactly what was going on because she like posted as soon as she was in makeup, or I don't remember like finding out that it had wrapped and she was flying out to Chicago, I think, to do a radio show, something like that. But it was
Right.
like a fast, quick, and run through type of thing.
And I like how it turned out. I really do. I mean, it's very different from Chasing the Sun. Like it's not, Chasing the Sun was like cute and there was this like kind of comical storyline to it. And then for this, it was very like stylistic and the colors, and there's dancers. There is a small storyline to it, which I thought the story was kind of dumb. I mean, this guy drops a record at a restaurant and she picks it up and then she like goes to find him. I like it. I like it a lot, and I like the dance moves, even though they're very simple. It's cute little line dancing, and she looked good. And yeah, I can tell that it was rushed in filming, I do think. And she definitely has, the extensions seemed a little fresh. But other than that, I like All About You video.
I like it. It's a cute video. And I thought the record thing was another kind of, I always thought that like with Chasing the Sun video and with the All About You video, it was kind of like let's see how they respond to like these storylines. I feel like they were purposely done to be kind of less mature for people to be like, oh yeah, yeah, see, she has that same like Lizzie vibe type of thing. What always got me about All About You was her hair. I just feel like it should have been brushed. I feel like that always bugged me. And her hair is literally like that in the whole video because it was just nonstop shooting. So it just made me laugh. And every scene, her hair looks like she just kind of got out of bed and threw some clothes on and ran out the door. So that always made me laugh.
That was literally new extensions that she had put in because they were about to start shooting younger. And, Kelsey had long hair and Hilary had chopped all hers off, and it just didn't look great. It didn't look the best. So I feel like I'm being really mean, and this was a great music video and this was a great song. And we're the super fans. We can be picky. It's fine.
But can we talk about that strut at the end? Because just like at the iHeartRadio Awards, when she wants to be sexy, she just does it effortlessly. That was, yeah, I loved it.
Hilary knows how to work a camera. She does.
Oh, yeah.
And she gave some amazing looks here. But yes, you're right. That strut at the end, she was like, we are doing this right now. So after All About You, honestly, we didn't hear anything for a long time. And her Thanksgiving Day Macy's Parade performance was canceled. And then it was like, for a while, nothing about music because she was shooting younger. Until, of course, she got back in the studio in Sweden, and then we end up getting Breathe In, Breathe Out, which we do another episode on. I do want to hear, your thoughts, though. How did you feel about the turn, from this folky pop record to what became Breathe In, Breathe Out, kind of a mix of straightforward dancey pop and a little bit of folk?
Well, first of all, when that performance at the parade was canceled, I was furious. I was like, really? That wasn't the only thing she canceled. She canceled some radio shows too.
Yeah.
Right before Younger was going to shoot. So when we got that rumor that her release date was pushed back because of the single underperforming, and she denied it. She was like, no, that's, it was not going to come out at this time at all. I think it was kind of obvious that it probably was going to come out around that time. But yeah, the single underperformed for a couple of reasons, Chasing the Sun, first of all, and then performances or lack thereof. But yeah, when she went to Sweden in February, it definitely felt like a fresh start. It was like, okay, she's going there. They're known for their very pop songs, very earwormy, catchy pop songs. So it was like, okay, it seems like they're going in a different direction. Okay, well, we'll follow along for the ride and see what comes out of this.
I can't imagine it being any other way. As much as I love the folky pop and as much as I love the songs that leaked that we're going to talk about here in a second, I can't imagine Breathe In, Breathe Out being any other way. I think that's the album that needed to be made.
I really like it. I think that it does show kind of a story from the beginning to the end. I love the way it ends on that like this. I think that's one of her best songs vocally and story wise. And I love that there was a duet. Also, like you said, I can't imagine Breathe In, Breathe Out in any other way. When Sparks came out, it was like, okay, this is definitely a different vibe from what we were getting last year with Chasing the Sun and All About You.
And I do think that Hilary might have been a little more excited about the folky pop stuff just because, that seemed to be her idea and the direction that she wanted to go in. And even though it shifted, it had to happen, I feel like, because it just had to.
Yeah, it was just, it was something that RCA probably pushed on her. And she was a pro. She went to Sweden, did her thing over there. Came back, she met Matthew Koma, and she started working with him, who we all obviously know now. Yeah, and I think that she liked what was coming out of it, but yeah, I think she was more passionate about the folk pop that she had, and you can see it even in the writing credits. The folk pop she had a lot of input in, and then all the newer songs. I think Lies is the only one she co-wrote. I might be wrong on that. It's clear that she started off in a certain direction, very passionate about it, and then she kind of did what the label was telling her with the rest of Breathe In, Breathe Out, but it came out really great, and it's definitely well appreciated among pop forums and stuff like that. There's a forum named Pop Justice. They tend to have been very critical of her, but they loved Breathe In, Breathe Out, and they definitely are all about her now. No pun intended, but yeah.
Oh, yes. No, intend the pun. Intend the pun. So there is a separate episode on Breathe In, Breathe Out that I do with Avery Harris, also from Hilary News. But we are going to talk about now the songs from the folky pop era that were never released. And they leaked early 2019. And these songs have really grown on me, I have to say. I mean, some of them, the first listen, I was like, I can see why that wasn't, released on an album or whatever. But now I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, I love these songs. I'm actually going by a track listing and what's on YouTube because that's how I've been listening to it. And I know there are some like SoundCloud tracks and stuff too that came out. But the first one on this list is Hurts, and I really, really like this song. I mean, the echoes on the chorus, and it's good. I really like this one.
I think she co-wrote that one, and it's very clear that it was about her like divorce and like kind of what was going on there. I love that song, and I think that she really puts a really great effort in the vocals of that song.
Yeah. Just stylistically, the echoes and everything about it is very haunting, I feel like. So
That's the word I was going to use. Yeah, it's
yeah.
very haunting, and this was very artsy of her, kind of.
Yeah. Feel Alive, Summer Heat is the next song I've got here. And this song, I mean, when I first heard this song, I think this is the one that I was super obsessed with.
Oh my gosh, I was obsessed with it. I still am. Yep.
This is like a very like fun party song. And it's interesting because I remember Hilary had described the album that she was making as like a party vibes kind of album. And here we get that for sure.
Yeah, no, I take it as like kind of, Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe.
Yeah.
This is just for fun. This is like not meant to be taken as the most serious. It's not like a Hurts. It's the name of the track, Feel Alive. It's just something that kind of make you, go and dance along to and have fun with.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Carry On is the next song I have here. All of the doors were open. You could never walk with me. So it's just very like...
It's like an anthem type of
It
vibe.
is, yeah. And what do you know about this one?
Okay, so this one was done with Nolan. Oh shoot, I don't know his last name. Sorry. And he did Jealous with Nick Jonas. And so I was like, okay, this is going to be a bop. I know that. And it really is. It's like despite kind of what's going on in the personal life with this person, you carry on and you make the most out of it and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's so good. It's like such a bop.
And the artist here is you were talking about Nolan Lambrosa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, him.
Okay. The next song I have is Wild Night Out, and this is one of my favorites from the leaked tracks. And one thing that I thought about in listening to these leaks and even some of the songs that wound up being bonus tracks on Breathe In, Breathe Out, it's like she had a lot of songs that were kind of about the same thing, whether it be partying or some of these like inspirational songs that she did. They all lyrically were a little similar. Some of the sounds were similar. So I definitely think she would have had to have, one over the other. Like she would have had to pick for the actual album, maybe not done every single one of them.
Well, she recorded so many songs. Like with Metamorphosis and her self-titled and Dignity, she did not record that many songs. This album, like the pre-folk pop, the folk pop, and then the bebo, it's like she recorded like 40 or more songs for this. So that one definitely has kind of an all about you vibe lyrically, or like some other song.
Yeah. I did think the line about blasting out some gangster rap, I was like, that's kind of funny.
I can tell you Avery did not like this song much.
Okay.
I liked it a lot because I thought it was very tongue-in-cheek.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like the folk pop that she was talking about. It's just very like chill and down to earth. Like anyone could be singing that song, just kind of walking along the street.
Yeah.
Not saying that anyone else would have written it, but like, someone could just get that catchy tune in their head and they just randomly sing along to it. You could hear someone doing, or I could hear someone doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Next is If I Fall. And this song makes me a little emotional because it's about basically Hilary and her comeback and how she stepped away from the spotlight and shut down her business and everything. And it's talking about, being scared to come back, but wanting to do it. And, if she falls, like, so what? Yeah. Did this kind of hit you emotionally as well?
Oh, it did. Like this, to me, I would classify this, as funny as it might sound, for Hillary as like a power ballad because it reminds me kind of like someone's watching over me. And I did read that lyric on or that comment on YouTube a few weeks ago. I think she did a really good job with it. The only thing there's a lyric in there about getting to watch TV. I did think that lyric was a little bit silly. Like, oh, I don't know. Like you have this really emotional ballad, and then you have a lyric like that in. But I almost feel like Hillary's kind of this is kind of her touch on things. Sometimes she says something that's kind of like, oh, really, and yeah. But I love it. I love If I Fall.
I just love that she even took the time to recognize what she did in her career and her life because it was a big deal for her to kind of take that break and acknowledge that and be like, hey, this is what happened to me and this is how I feel about it. I want to read the verse that you were talking about there so that people can get a sense there. But it says, now days turn into weeks. I learned to watch TV and catch up on years of sleep. Made some friends to keep and found out what I'm about, at least. She did learn just how to, I guess, be like a normal person, and she did make all these great friends, and so that's cool. But it is weird, and to me, I'm kind of like, after Breathe In, Breathe Out, like after the promo kind of ended for that, and she was literally doing nothing, I was like, Hillary, please, you look so lazy right now.
Right. Oh gosh, don't remind me.
Yeah, I know. Next is Neighborhood. This one might not be my favorite. It's talking about like going back to a relationship or reminiscing on someone that you used to be in love with, basically, I think.
It was kind of like Chasing the Sun, how we were talking about, oh, since it's Hillary, we're going to like it. That's how I started with it. But I've actually really grown to like it after, listening to it a little bit more.
Yeah.
We don't know who the writers are. I almost feel like I hear Mitchie Collins in the background vocals,
hmm
and he worked with Hillary like at the very beginning of the era, and the only song that people might know of his for sure that made the album was Picture This.
Oh,
I know people have strong feelings about that one because Hillary was having such a good time with those people. It was Christian Medis or whatever, and Mitchie Collins. She was having a blast, even if people might not like how it turned out. You could just tell that she was living her life and enjoying every moment of it at that time. And so I think that's why Picture This did make the album. I think it was like a personal thing for her. Again, we know nothing about Neighborhood, but I do think I hear Mitchie in those ad libs. So it might have been one of the first songs she recorded.
gotcha. Next, I have Wherever We Go. Definitely more of a pop folk sound on this, very summer. It's in the same vein of like Feel Alive and that sort of thing, Chasing the Sun. So I prefer like Feel Alive to this probably.
I think, well, I know this was recorded this was when she was pregnant with Luca in that time frame because of the writers she worked with. She worked with Ali Tamposi and someone else in that group. If you look at the writers, that's who she was working with at that time. So this kind of has nothing to do with the rest of the album.
Okay.
This is very commercial. This sounds like something that they may have pitched for a soundtrack, the whole vibe of the song. And I really like it. I think it would have worked perfect for like an animated film or something like that. But I got that vibe. I got like commercial when I heard that song.
You're dropping some major knowledge because that's amazing to find out that that was when she was pregnant with Luca because she did go in the studio for like that short amount of time there.
Yeah, and I think she recorded around six or so songs, and so there's more from that time period that we just haven't heard or have any idea of. Someone once brought up that Youngblood has kind of the writers from that earlier time period. So
I love that song.
yeah, Youngblood. So I think that may have been around the same time. It was very because I remember she was just mostly experimenting when she was with Luca. Like she wasn't even there wasn't a whole vibe for the album yet. So I think yeah.
You think Young Blood might have been a Hillary song before it even went to be a part of the Jim and the Holograms movie.
Yeah, I had seen that rumor online, and it kind of makes sense when you look at the writers because those are the writers she had initially worked with. Or, I could be wrong. This could have been something else, but I do think that for sure there is more to hear from that time period, and I think is much more poppy, kind of like Wherever We Go is.
Gotcha, gotcha. The next song, the title track, sort of, it's This Heart. And, we didn't really even talk about how in one of her interviews, Hilary kind of referred to the album being named This Heart. And then we learned, like, no, that's just the name of one of the songs. And it's the song that she wrote about Luca. But you remember when, for a minute, we thought, oh, this album is called This Heart.
Oh yeah, no, MTV definitely reworded that article. Like that article has been edited because initially they did say the album is called This Heart. Yeah, there's a video of her talking about it, and it kind of makes it seem like she said it, but maybe it was something that they weren't factually sure of, so that's why they edited the article. But it did sound like she said that the album was called This Heart.
It would make a little bit of sense if she had picked this song because it is the song about Luca. I don't think it's the strongest song. I like it lyrically. I think it's sweet. I don't like it vocally, especially like the chorus. What do you think about the song?
I really like it. Like, yeah, it's one of those songs where maybe Hillary was straining a little bit vocally in the chorus. You can tell it came like from her heart. Like
Yeah.
it's one of those. And that's the thing about Hillary is as we've touched on, she doesn't have the strongest vocals, but when you know that she's passionate about something, it makes you kind of passionate about it too. Or at least that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. And it's just about kind of like her unconditional love for her child, basically. And I mean, in the verses, she just talks about these little things that she and Luca do. And I mean, that just gets me. It gets me. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I really do like that song a lot. Like, I know how much she was probably into it when she was writing and recording it.
Yes. The last song that I have on this list is It All Starts Tonight, which is actually my favorite of the ones that we're talking about here. This song just, to me, like goes super hard. It's super inspirational. And I wish it would have been one of the bonus tracks along with like Belong and Rebel Hearts because it's so good. Or it could have even been on Breathe In, Breathe Out, honestly.
It All Starts Tonight is just everything. I love that song. It's definitely kind of like in the vein of Belong. It's like a empowering anthem type of
Yeah.
thing. There's not enough praise I can give that song. I love how versatile she is vocally. Like she goes from her lowest register to like on the chorus, she's like kind of sing shouting, but in a good way. Like it sounds good.
Oh my gosh. Like this part gets me so. The way
Yeah.
that it builds. Oh, you've cried and we have cried. The broken pieces left inside can never let them break our stride. Tell me yours, I'll tell you mine. And it just like, she does it once and then I think she does it again and like it gets faster and it just, oh, it's so good.
At the end, she explodes with the "Tell me yours, I'll tell you mine," and she goes like
Yes.
high up there. Oh yeah, she was all over that song. I love that song. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite. Just my overall thoughts on this sort of leaked, unofficial album. Like, it's frustrating because I do love them now, a lot of these songs so much, and wish some of them could have been released for something. I've said several times, like, there could have been an EP, but they were good. Like, I can see why RCA might have been like, hey, you need to go give this another try. And so she went to Sweden and she did it, and then we got Breathe In, Breathe Out. I can see why that happened, just because the songs, like, are not as strong as what Breathe In, Breathe Out became, I feel like, but I still love them.
Well, and that's the thing. Like the way that Breathe In, Breathe Out ended up being, like they got a bunch of really professional. Like we make bops. Like
Yeah.
this is what we do, and yeah, they just they really brought their A game for that first half of the album.
Yeah.
The thing is, like there are songs like "Feel Alive." I feel like that could have been a single, and I joked with Avery and Josh once. We were talking about how like "Feel Alive" and "Outlaw." They could have potentially become, hits and or maybe had like a viral video to them.
Yeah.
But as it is, Outlaw was just a Japanese bonus track, and then Feel Alive didn't even make any of the cuts. So
And for listeners who are listening to the series all the way through, the next episode in the music series will be the Breathe In, Breathe Out episode. So get ready for that. And okay. We're going to end things here with Quizzy McGuire. So what question do you have for me?
Okay, my question for you is, can you name 5 of Hilary's celebrity friends?
Ooh, okay. Ashley Tisdale.
Okay.
Alana Masterson.
Yes.
She doesn't have that many.
Exactly. And that's actually
Okay.
why I thought it would be a fun question to ask. Because it's like one of
No, this
those
is
that,
great.
yeah, it shows like, oh, Hilary's very like, keeps to herself and kind of only makes really serious friends that are celebs.
I don't know. Give me some more. Help me out.
Okay. So Molly Bernard from Younger.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. And then Jamie Lynn Sigler, who's like an actress. And then Jenna Dewan, who's also an actress.
Oh, yeah.
There was someone else that I had in mind. But anyway, it was a hard question because she really, really isn't into that whole celebrity. And I guess you can put Matthew Coma because, hello.
Yeah. Well, my question for you is actually TV related. So after Lizzie and after Hilary, I think, did Dignity and all of her kind of big screen movies, she had a development deal with NBC, and we thought she was going to star on a TV show. And I was wondering if you know what the TV show is called.
Yeah, it was called Barely Legal.
Yes. And do you remember like what it was about or what it was going to be about? Bonus points.
Something about like her being the youngest lawyer to pass the bar, and I think that was like the basic premise of it, is like she was the youngest lawyer to pass the bar.
Yep, that's it. And that never happened, but oh well. Lewis, this has been so much fun. Thanks for being on Duff Enough.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm sorry I sound like I'm dying, but I got like super allergies today for some reason.
You sound fine. All right, and that's going to be it. And that's all for this episode of Duff Enough. Thanks again for listening. I hope you'll subscribe and stick around for more because this podcast is what dreams are made of. You can follow along on social media at Duff Enough Pod and check the description for my socials as well as show guests. And until next time, bye Team Duff.